Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be discussing my 2017 reading goals. I've seen this video going around on booktube quite a bit, and I thought it was a really good idea to kind of transition out of this year and talk about next year. And in particular, I thought it would be a good idea for me because I had more of like a reading half of year. I've said that before. I got back into reading in 2016, yay, and I really got back into it in like June, I feel like. So definitely literally a reading half of a year. And so I just kind of wanted to discuss what I want next year to look like for me. But at the same time, I wanted to be really, I don't know, kind of specific about my reading goals, but also very realistic about my reading goals. So I'm gonna get started. I kind of was making notes earlier today on my reading goals, and I only have, I think, about 4 or 5. So my first reading goal is to read more nonfiction next year. I did read nonfiction this year. I've only done one wrap up because by the time I decided that I was actually going to join the booktube community, there was just time for my one wrapped up, which is November. But I will also have a December wrap up as well, and then starting next year you'll see wrap ups from me more frequently. But I read a couple nonfiction this year, and I loved all of the nonfiction that I read this year. And one thing that I'm remembering about myself is that I really love nonfiction. It has never been an issue for me to read nonfiction. Set that down. It's never been an issue for me to read nonfiction, and it just gives you a different perspective than fiction does. You know, I love reading memoirs. I love reading biographies. I love history. And I also just love learning about, like, I love nutrition books. I really am trying to really teach myself about nutrition so that I can apply it to my life, because right now I've been struggling with just doing better in that department. So reading more nonfiction is something I really want to focus on next year. Okay, so for my second goal, I want to read books that make me uncomfortable. And this is something that I just keep making a goal in my life, in every area of my life, because for so long I was somebody who would never step outside of my comfort zone. It didn't matter what it is. I was like, you scare me? No. So I want to read outside of my comfort zone. And in particular, books that make me uncomfortable normally have something to do with the African American experience, whether it's way back in the day, during slavery period. We talk about mass incarceration. Normally, I mean, there are other books that make me uncomfortable, but for the most part, books about my history in particular, they really make me uncomfortable. Even when I watch movies, I normally have a very hard time watching movies. They make me physically ill. So it's something that I need to do better in, and it's something that I have read quite a bit in the genre, but I feel like now I'm to a point where if I know it's going to make me uncomfortable, I steer clear of it, and I don't want to do that. I really enjoy reading widely, and I really don't think that just because a book makes me uncomfortable is not a good enough reason for me not to read it. If anything, that's more of a reason for me to read it. At the same time, other books that make me uncomfortable is reading about the experience of being a woman inside of the United States and also outside of the United States. In particular, reading about women like in foreign countries, that also makes me kind of uncomfortable, but it's something that I'm interested in, and so I plan to read more of that in 2017. Okay, so my third reading goal is to explore new authors, which it won't be hard for me. There are so many authors that I have not read anything from at all. This year, I feel like almost all of the authors that I read from were new authors to me. I did do a couple rereads, but that was this month in particular. So most of the authors I read from was new authors. So I want to keep that up. I want to explore new authors. If you have an author that you think writes incredible work, and I don't care what the genre is, even though I will say I am scary, so keep that in mind if you're going to recommend a scary book. Maybe try something different. But for the most part, let me know with which authors you feel that you just really gravitate toward. I love authors whose work just really pulls you in and they're just really imaginative. So if you have authors that you think I should check out, let me know. I would love to see what they're writing, and if something catches my eye, I just want to branch out. So help me out there. My next reading goal is to not compare my reading to anyone else. I want to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy myself in 2017 and 2018 and any year after that. I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to compare myself to, and that's just in life in general, but definitely with my reading, I don't really want to be intimidated or feel like I should put more on my TBR because other people have more on their TBR, or I don't want to be worried about what my book count is. I just don't. I want to just enjoy myself and really make sure that I'm taking my time and really being immersed in a book. So I'm really looking for quality over quantity. And at the same time with that, in terms of, because I feel like this is something that I was hearing a lot, do I have a reading goal in terms of the number? I really don't. I do have a Goodreads, and so I'll probably set my Goodreads to 12 books, which will, you know, be 1 book a month. I'm sure that I will read more than that, but I'm a very goal-oriented person, and so if I set my goal list to 100 books, I feel like somewhere in there I'm gonna lose why I'm reading, because I'm going to be trying to hit that number. I don't know if it's the student in me or what, but I know myself, and right now I'm just not at a place where I can do that. So in terms of that, it'll be about 1 book a month is what I'm gonna set Goodreads to. Like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna be reading more than that, but I don't want to lose why I'm reading. So we're just gonna see together what my reading year looks like. I'm so expressive. Do y'all know that? I'm like always with the hands, man, always with the hands. What is my next goal? My final goal is that I want to try doing book reviews and book discussions. I don't really know how that goes, so I'm just gonna see what happens. There are some books that I really want to discuss, and also that's really why I joined BookTube. I don't have anybody, let me set that down now. I don't have anybody in my personal life who really reads, and when I try to discuss it with my friends, most of the times they don't get it, they don't know what I'm talking about, and they're not interested. And it's kind of alienating a little bit, because it's like you're reading these great books and you have some thoughts, or like for instance, I'm reading the Lunar Chronicles, and there have been times where I have been upset about something or something has made me happy, but it's like I can't share that because they don't know what I'm talking about. So I plan to do more of that next year. I really want to talk about books more next year. Like I said, I just joined BookTube, so I'm not really disappointed in how BookTube has went for me this year. I just joined BookTube, and so I put out my first wrap up, which was really fun. So I want to do more individual videos on books next year though, where I just talk about it, and I'm gonna do like book discussions where I just talk and give you my thoughts, and then you can also give me yours. We can see what we liked about the book the same and what we didn't like. But I also want to do reviews where I don't spoil you. So I don't know how I'm gonna format the videos. Maybe I'll do a review at the beginning and then jump into a discussion, or maybe for some books I might only want to do a review versus a discussion. We'll see. But that's really my goals for next year. I would love to hear what your reading goals are for next year. If you have any and you feel comfortable sharing them, leave them down below. I'd love to talk about it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.